greatest fit and all the rest. Now you have Spree in there.
I thought Spree played really well. I'm going to be super biased, though, because I spent a lot of time with Saney over the weekend at BlizzCon, and I think he will land on his feet. Very intelligent player, very, very good player. So I think a lot of that, though, I'm always worried when I feel a player has the talent to be on a team, and for some reason they get kicked off it anyway. I've brought that up with several of my favorite players actually have that issue where they have the talent to be on any team, and for whatever reason they're not getting kicked off because of talent. So that always worries me a little bit. I thought Spree played fine. I think Sieni's a good player though, and I'm sure we'll see him back on a team.
I think there's no better player, the way you just mentioned, than what we saw with Crew, where Crew was on a whole slew of different teams, originally on Melty, and just sort of did the tour of teams before landing on Misfits, and hey, with Misfits, was able to win the Overwatch Open, so...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think a lot of it is maybe based on meta, too. Saney was one of the best players during the Widow meta, and we've seen with other players who have kind of dropped off from that. He was never able to get his Genji just as good, and with Zarya being so good for the last, like, however many months, Spree on such a good Zarya was a really good fit, especially with how the teams have been playing.
All right, we'll take a look here at the defense coming out here from the side of Immortals. They will be opting for a little bit of extra control here. Hyped is going to be on the Mei, and Agility is going to be on the Roadhog. So name of the game here coming up for the defense is that you're going to see Hyped try and just really stymie things, try and split off the offense as they come in. And Agilities will be looking for important picks, either set by the Mei or even before the other team gets forward. So a few threats here coming out here from the defense of Immortals that LG will be having to look out for.
A little bit interesting on this offense, too. It is a map that you see some Genjis on. You'll even see Genjis on defense, but Agilities, who is a great Genji, in my opinion, is opting to run that Roadhog on the defense instead. We'll see if he rotates onto that Genji on offense, but they're very much going for a low ground kind of control push here with Icefelt onto the McCree instead.
Right now, throws down the ice wall. Wasn't quite able to trap Manits in there. And for Immortals, I don't expect them to do anything too crazy here. The thing about this defense on Gibraltar is that you want to pull things back a little bit. You don't want to give up early picks. Manitson, of course, one of the more dangerous hogs in the game, is good at finding those early pickups, so that's a tension here for Immortals. Will get behind Hype, takes him out immediately. It's a great hook to start things off for Manitson. 2 quick kills here from the side of LG. And LG right now definitely has Immortals a little bit on the ropes, as Manitson, again, looking for that long-range hook.
Kind of a cool combination play as they went in with Ruster, and Ruster was getting focus healed as well, so he just wanted to take out the opposing Rhine, open things up for everything else. And now, when the fight breaks down, ZP, you love to say it, the worse a fight gets, the better that McCree gets.
Absolutely, and that's because McCree doesn't have to worry about things diving on him. And oh my goodness, the up and over hook. I don't even know what I just watched there, aside from Gurbialdi just dying in one of the worst possible ways. Manitson, keep momentum going here for LG. And actually, I think teams sometimes just forget about Roadhog when they're trying to regroup.
I don't know how you can forget about Roadhog in this meta. I mean, I guess I think a lot of teams, and maybe I'm speaking from my own experience, underestimate how the range of hook works, because it seems like it goes an infinite amount of space, but they trade out hooks there, and now it's going to be the defense trying to dive on them and take advantage of this fight. A great wall puts a backstop to where Nomi's just swinging away at his hammer.
Immortals pretty lucky to get away with that there. Now, they do have a ult bank that's charging up. They didn't have to use really any of it to go forward and push that back, but they'd given up some big kills there, and luckily for them, LG gave up kills in turn. So you take a look here over the top. It's going to be all 6 ultimates up here for the side of Immortals.
As you mentioned, alt bank looking very good for both sides, really. The biggest difference is going to be the sound barrier here, but that should be in a 6v6 with most ults up. It should be the difference in this fight.
All right, and here we go. Deadeye coming out here to start things off from the offense. Counter Deadeye now coming out here for Gurbialdi. Gurbialdi picks off not one, but both supports with a very quick Deadeye. Could not have gone any better. And as a result, Immortals going to be pushing LG right back. Gurbialdi, quickest cowboy in the West.
And that's the economy we like to see, ZP, is that they only had to use 2 there to clean up everything. They're still going to be in the lead going into this next fight, not blowing too many ultimates on it, in a perfect combination of ultimates. You get the Blizzard, and that's enough to clean up. Gurbialdi saw a chance to clean up as well with the Deadeye, got 2, so they only had to use 2 of their 6 ults, still in the lead there on that, in good control of this shuttle point on Gibraltar.
All right, the offense moving forward once more, but here comes the defense. The nano boost is on the way. Agility's just rolling forward with it. Takes down Ruster before falling himself. And for the offense, they're pretty lucky that they got away with only the Rhine dying. Without a shield taken, it's going to be hard for them to go forward. Icefelt just getting exposed towards the very end. The defense of Immortals looking pretty strong here as Agilities ends up taking another nap.
This is the part of the map that I almost most often ask this question. What do you think they need to change here? They maybe switched to a Winston, and that didn't necessarily work out for him, but you can't keep trying the same thing on Shuttle Point here and expect different results. Do you think maybe they just bank up a couple supports and hope it works out a little differently, or do you think they go for the composition change?
I think saving up ultimates here is definitely something that they haven't really even done in this map so far, although I will say tank play coming out from, or specifically Winston play coming out, has been the greatest for him. Nomi, though, going for the flanking Earthshatter, comes down, knocks down 2, is immediately punished, so defensive Immortals overextending a little bit. Grim Reality trying to bring it back, is in over the top, was able to get the Ana, now swinging along to the right side. Landing a little bit of poke, but you take a look at the flow of this fight, it's still Immortals getting pushed back. Icefelt able to get the pickoff he's looking for, so even though Grim Reality's doing a good job of staying alive here over the top, the defense has to be very careful how they play this, because they lose 1 or 2 more Hex, I don't know if they're going to be able to pull this back.
Actually, I really like what the offense did there. They don't necessarily need to change the composition or anything, but they changed the style. They wanted to force an ugly fight, and that's exactly what this fight has been. They jumped in really early with the Winston. A beautiful dart is going to take Nomi out of this fight as they try to push in with their own Ana boost.
They do push in. Ruster swing the hammer off the now boost. It's going to be Agilities, though, getting the pick off onto the backline. Takes down Dave, gets another hook here on the Ruster, almost taking him out outright. But overall, flow battle still very much in favor of LG. They've gotten the pickoffs they've needed to get. It's been bloody. It's been messy. But at the end, it's going to be LG standing on top. They get the second point, Hex. And now, moving forward, they have a good chance of keeping up the map as Ethan trying to stay alive versus Spree.
I think the thing they changed most was the style in which that fight was going to happen, because LG on their shuttle phase was having a hard time going into set fights, and because you're going into a defense that's already established, it has also alchemy, and more importantly has just the better positioning based on how the map is. They wanted to make it dirty, make it scrappy. That's exactly what they did. A lot of the Winston play was doing just that. Make it segmented and try to clean up and let your DPS just find stray targets.
All right, and the defense right now, they are trying to restabilize. Hype takes down Icefelt. They should be able to push things back, but remember, the offense respawn is right there, so you don't want to go too far forward. This could be very dangerous for a defense if they keep in this way.
It is. I've always loved this part of the game, this section of the map. It's been one of my favorite kind of, what I say is like an artificial choke. It gets hard for the offense to push in if you hold at the correct angle for the defense, but they're going to have to give up ground as soon comes the grab. A beautiful wall tries to hold them out for a second.
Graviton comes in for the offense, but the wall does buy a little bit of time. Icefelt, though, still able to take down Lucio. You have Agilities here just getting backed up by Maniton. Here comes the whole hog, though. Nowhere for Winston the run. Just gets killed in the backline. While that's going on, it's Spree. Pick up 2 kills here for the offense. Agilities off on an island by himself. Winston kill or no. And right now, the offense might be on the way to finishing out this map right here, right now, Hex. They're very close to the final point. And the defense just luckily getting out towards the very end. Nomi, nano boost on him, swings the hammer, swinging back and forth here, trying to make some space. And Hex, it's looking like they're going to make some space, but did Immortals get away with one there?
Maybe. They were able to dodge an Earthshatter that was going to change that fight around and probably close out the map. So I guess I liked what Hype did. I don't know if that staying on the Mei is great, but I think Hype really likes the Mei. Hype has been one of the players who, if he likes a player, even if it's not perfect in the situation meta, he will stay on it. He will play Diva a lot more times than other people, and as good as Mei is right now, I think maybe you can stay with her here as she's been playing really well. Here comes another Blizzard. That's why she's so good.
Blizzard is coming in here from Nomi. He's going to get slept towards the end. Ends up getting charged to the backline, but the heals are right on him. Ana keeping him alive during that entire exchange. And the defense being highly aggressive here. They're down 1. They're down a Mei. They really need to be careful here, Hex, because respawns are coming in. And Nomi, I think, realizes the danger. He's backing up, holding on to the Earthshatter, goes for the counter Earthshatter, knocks down 3, but gets Earthshatter in turn. Everyone dropping the hammer, and Ruster will reign supreme. 3 kills here from the offense, and here comes Luminosity Gaming.
As you mentioned, playing with fire, you could see the moment they knew that they had gone too far as that shield was cracking, trying to back up. Another Earthshatter had missed for them on the defense. Ruster hit a beautiful one. They're going to take out Chance here, and now it's just the cleanup. Are they going to have enough to delay? 20 seconds left on the clock.
20 seconds left. Ruster right now just swings the hammer on top. Spree gets 2. And with 18 seconds remaining, LG going to be capping out Gibraltar. So for them, it's not necessarily the best Gibraltar time, but there's been so many times here, Hex, where we've seen teams actually just fail to cap out Gibraltar, period, that it's not the worst either. And hang on, I can't even hear you because somehow I've knocked out my headphones once more, so take it away.
You have had headphone issues like no other so far in this broadcast, but we'll see what teams want to run here. I'm going to be really surprised if Agility doesn't at least toy around with the idea of going Genjis. That's kind of where he made his name for me. Grim on the McCree is exactly the same situation, but that is just how good Roadhog is right now, that they're going to have to run a Roadhog as well. So interesting. Shadowburn does run a Genji consistently on this map and does it to great effect. I'm surprised that more teams haven't done it, but a lot of it comes down to not really fighting over this high ground early on and where teams are holding defensively. It just kind of bodes better to running a triple tank.
Well,
absolutely.
I will say that the last time we saw them play FaZe actually on this map in the previous monthly melee, he did run Genji and he did get shut down by the other Roadhog. Now, Matatin has been toying with Roadhog sometimes and playing Mei the other times. Maybe that if they don't see the Roadhog this time, we will see Agilities bust into Genji, because I think he's actually played it pretty well.
Yeah.
When he has been playing it. And I think it would be a good move to do. So I actually would like to see it here in this situation.
Yeah, let's move it, people.
So my headphones have been reconnected. So for the record as to why that's happening, recent events, you sort of get into headphone etiquette where you want to put the wire behind your back, don't have it show on camera, all the rest. Well, I don't have the longest of headset wires going on here, so I turn my head a little bit too sharply and out goes the headphone jack. So like, I've been running it too, but should be interesting. Either way though, take a look here at the defense coming out here from the side of this LG squad. Gonna be Icefeld here on the McCree, Ruster on Reinhardt, Spree on the Zarya, Manatin looking for control here in the Mei, Mineral and Lucio, and Zave gonna be on the Ana here. So the interesting thing here is that there's a lot of pressure here on Icefeld to be the muscle, and he's doing it on McCree rather than Reaper, so if he gets isolated out, there's not going to be a lot to save him.
They just give up all of the high ground. This defense was not even messing around up there, did not want to give away a pick, knowing that a hook could actually spell disaster for this defense, so they just are holding completely on server room. There is no notion of even trying to take high ground. Grim Reality is going to be thrilled to see that he's going to be up here, and no one's going to be able to deal with him at all.
Well, nice thing in Grim Reality, too, he doesn't have to worry about a hook and all the rest, so he's going to have a lot more freedom here on McCree. We'll have to worry about his opposing number in McCree, but other than that, this is a pretty good situation for McCree to be in. It's where Grim Reality, all he has to do, he has to win the one-on-one with Icefeld. Granted, Icefeld might be getting support the entire time, but there's a lot of room for a skilled McCree to work here, so I think for Grim Reality, this is a good opportunity. Now, of course, same goes for Icefeld, where he's up against another McCree. If he can win that battle, works out really well for LG.
They have got to be a little more careful here. This is the second time they've been cut in half during the bottom push here, and it's because they had 3 up top, and that Mei wall came in, take down Agilities there. The Lucio's lucky to get out with his life.
Indeed. So,
Someone get that payload moving.
both teams right now just trading off poke, but the defense of LG looking particularly strong here. You take a look, they're going to have 3 ultimates up here in the next fight, Hex. And what do you do as Immortals trying to break through this?
You start rolling together a 6 because they've been trying to roll together 3v3. That's a great help right there, getting the hook and then the cleanup on this Spree. Now they're going to have to do the rest of it without 2 other players as Icefeld. It's a huge Deadeye. Nomi, again, not getting any value out of this Ana boost. He's in trouble.
Yeah, and it's Icefeld able to turn the tides there. Grim Reality might have opened the door, but Icefeld slamming it shut, got the double kill. Deadeye moves forward once more and should be able to hunt down Agilities here with the rest of his teams. Now, 2 minutes left. This defense has been looking pretty darn good here from the side of LG, Hex, and this is the point where I ask you, is there something that should be switched up?
Well, I did like that they were just trying to go in, at least as a team, so now they're going to have all of their ultimates. I don't think you necessarily need to change anything, but I've yet to see Agility's name really play a factor here, and like I mentioned pregame, I would love to see him on the Genji.
Oh my goodness, the saving wall there, stopping Grim Reality from getting everything he wanted. Grim Reality did not die in that last fight, was just hanging back there, caught Icefeld off guard, picks up the double kill, and Grim Reality, sneaky McCree paying off in the biggest of ways. And yeah, I gotta say, even for us here, where we can't tell everything that's going on all the time, certainly Icefeld had no prayer as Grim Reality. I mean, he's a cowboy, but he's also a ninja.
This is a really interesting area to fight. They catch him a little bit off guard because no one ever fights out here. They use the Graviton, only grab up one right there. Both sound barriers are exchanged, and now this fight is getting really dirty too. Now on offense, I like this because defense usually has position. I don't know about forcing this kind of fight on your defense.
Absolutely. Hype, though, able to move in, picks up 2, so the offense keeping the momentum going forward. A lot of that due to the poke that Grim Reality was able to do. He got picked off, but the damage was done. And now you take a look at this. This is where agilities can really shine. You can look for those early pickoffs.
I can only assume that the defense got bad spawns there, and they weren't able to get into the position that you want, because there's no other reason to try to fight on the ground level in Gibraltar on defense. Not in that manner anyway. They just took it right to them. They must have just gotten those 4 spawns and been able to get where they wanted to be.
Oh no, Agility's getting the package that no one wants, pulls up a charging nano-boosted Reinhardt, who immediately takes out Hyped, gets a nice hook on the minerals towards the end, but unfortunately Agility's going to be the only kill here, has to back out in a hurry. I mean, Roaster probably would have gotten kills either way, but I gotta think that Azari isn't feeling super great about that entire situation.
So it's going to be a complete reset here offensively. We'll see what they can get going together. Now the defense is in a really nice position, set up in that typical spot up top, exactly where you want to be, but they are going to be facing an ultimate disadvantage. We'll see if Hyped is going to try to use this to pull them off the ledge. That's generally what a Graviton wants to be if they're going to set up top, but they're abandoning that high ground yet again.
They're abandoning the high ground. Hype, though, is diving in, gets a Graviton, pulls in so 4, if not 5, laying in the secondary fire from the back, but there's not the fall through there. Reinhardt able to keep people relatively alive. Ruster might be sacrificing his life for it. Does go down eventually, but at least gave enough of a chance here for the defense of LG to stay alive. Chance, though, takes down Ruster, and the defense starting to get whittled down here by this attack from the Immortals.
Yeah, Reinhardt's Tenacious Shield right there is the only reason they're still in this fight to this point, but a late Sound Barrier is going to close it out for them, give them the health they need to clean up the rest of these kills. They're setting a pretty good pace here, 3 minutes yet to go, and now they're going to try to take this fight to them as they quickly roll out here. They do not want to let the defense get set up. Grim Reality takes on Spree early. There goes Ruster, there goes Zave. They are flying through this.
They are going through with a whole lot of speed here, and now, momentum-wise, they have a great chance to not only finish out the map, but do it with a better time bank as well. And, Hex, what are you expecting to come out of the defense here? They do have 2 support ultimates online.
Well, Maniton did just switch up to the Reaper, so I expect a spin-to-win kind of strategy coming in next, because why else run that Reaper? They are off of their other heroes too, so we'll see exactly what is going to come out here, but that is an interesting Sound Barrier to say the least.
A Sound Barrier that sort of got forced out here by the offense is a good move from Immortals, and now Vince is getting highly aggro, but immediately punished. Grim Reality takes down Maniton. 5v5 right now, and the defense are getting so aggro, and Grim Reality just sitting here as they get served up, knocking them down, almost picks up another long-range kill, and the Immortals now set up really well to move the payload forward and get right to the end. Defense struggling a little bit.
Do they not remember what happened when the defense got aggro on the last round? A nice Earthshatter knocks on a couple. Here comes another grab. That is going to be completely wiped up thanks to a beautiful Ana Grenade. It is only a boosted Reaper left, but he is already at half health. He's going to get taken out before anything really happens there, so the offense will continue to move forward. If any delay can come out, that'd be great, but they're on a much better time. That's it. They do finish it. 144, but that 18 seconds that they saved to their bank last time instantly converted to a minute. It was a huge 18 seconds.
3-3.
Yep, and for that, of course, don't forget, it's still even time-wise, where the team that just finished there, they're going to get another 42 seconds, so it's not like time is given out for free, but Immortals definitely in a better position. They get that plus 42 seconds, 2:26 to 1 minute, so they're going to have a lot more buffer going forward here when they take the attack, but they will be defending first, and we'll see just what LG can do on their 1-minute dash.
Immortals has had a better hanger phase than LG did. Immortals was able to hold LG for long enough during the hanger phase that they got it down to just 16 seconds. Now, they did get it, so they do get the minute back, but it will be still pretty difficult for them to go. Considering how long this map is for first point, you almost only have 1 attack, maybe 2, if it takes so long.
I tend to agree. We'll see exactly what kind of angle they want to take here. Defense-wise, they are setting up top, looking for early hooks, early kills, trying to end this fight really even before it begins. We saw 2 different strategies on what they wanted to do on their first defense, either holding high ground looking picks and rotating back, or just letting them in and cutting them in half. And the ice wall strategy worked a little bit better. So right now, they're in a pretty aggressive defensive position, knowing they really only need to win 2 fights to kind of lock down this first point.
Alrighty, so you take a look here at the defense of Immortals. They are starting out a little bit more aggro. I don't expect them to really stay here too long, especially with Maniton hooks being a thing, but
they're going to try to
I think they'll just get back up soon.
That's exactly what happened on the first round. They got a hook, it got Zarya bubbled, nothing came of it, they rotated back.
So they're going to rotate back a little bit, but next fight should be underway here in a moment. And a lot's getting been here on Manitin. Manitin and Icefeld coming in over the top, either looking for the pickoff from the burst damage from McCree, or the hook from Manitin. And here comes Manitin, rolling around the back, has hook at the ready. Mineral able to take down Nomi early on, and Manitin takes out his opposing number. Agility is going to fall. 2 kills here from the offense, and this is exactly what LG needs if they want to get through first. And Hex, what was so good about that attack there?
It was not necessarily what's great about the attack, it was what defense happened to them. They lost focus. They had exactly what they wanted when they cut them in half through the half of it, and then 2 of them just bailed on finishing that fight, thought they were going to be able to get more done elsewhere. They were unable to get more done there. They had 3 people cut in half in that wall. They should have all collapsed. They failed to do so, and that's why this card is getting its first point.
All right, we are in the official overtime rush right now. If they get off the point for any reason, it will be over, but so long as they can stay in the point, they can conceivably go all the way to the end. So LG right now, this is it for them, a single loss fight, and things will be over. But for the defense, they want to go quick here. They don't want to just give up all this free push for free. And here we go. The defense is going to drop in. Hyped with the Blizzard. Will be zoning them off the payload. Sets up Grim Reality for the quick kill on the back line. Nano Boost Reinhardt is in play, but just getting zoned out and controlled by this Mei. Ruster not getting as much as he wants. And it will be Grim Reality with all the room in the world. Has the Nano Boost and is looking to finish things out. Takes down Mineral. And just like that, it is going to be Immortals finishing things out here with the hold in the middle of Hangar Phase, but not a bad push there, Hex, coming out from LG.
I'd say you got to be pretty happy with that. Given a minute on your clock, you're happy to get first, and then you got halfway through there. That's actually a decent spot to be able to hold in Hangar Phase 2 if all goes wrong and they have to give up first. So they have to be pretty happy based on what they got time-wise, only a minute, so able to get that first point on a beautiful attack. And I don't know if that the attack was that great. I feel that the defense got exactly what they wanted. 3 people in early, cut in half by the wall. It's exactly what they did several times on those earlier pushes. And then they just thought it was taken care of. They had their Reinhardt in. They're like, oh, the wall's up. Reinhardt's there. He's just going to smash them all. He got cleaned up by the Lucio, and then everyone else stayed alive. They all got segmented off elsewhere trying to chase different kills. They got punished for it. I think they just lost focus in that very critical moment.
Roadhog dictates first point of Gibraltar so much. You get a pick, you're in prime position. You don't, and you feed the enemy team almost instantly. And that's kind of the problem, or success, with teams running Roadhog.
So here's the thing for Immortals, they're going to have to try to find a way of getting through first point just about as swiftly. Their time advantage that they have basically gives them 1 extra attempt to take first and do what we just saw from LG. So LG, despite having a rougher performance on the main map now, very arguably has a big advantage towards winning this map. A lot's going to come down to this first push.
Yeah, they're trying to get a little bit of spam early on out here, but that's very dangerous. Zave and Spree both barely get out with their lives, both barely dodging hooks right there. So they try to get something going early. I think the risk reward's way too high right there. Luckily, they do not get punished for it. They are going to be pushing right down through the middle here. We'll see if they get an ice wall and can finish it of their own. Manitin looking for it.
Does look for the ice wall, does split off the Immortals a little bit, but again, Ruster going a little bit too far deep, immediately punished. It's Agilities and Grim Reality laying in the damage, and Immortals now with a very quick first point attack of their own. Hex, I don't think there's any way they're really going to be able to come back and defend this, not when you lose that decisively.
No, Zave should actually go try to suicide himself. He's just actually going to get out. They are going to let him out. Nope, never mind. Gets hooked. He is taken out, and that really hurts them. They are very staggered. So much so, I think that kill actually dictates them rushing in onto this point right now.
This feels bad. This feels like throwing good money after bad all the ways. Grim Reality having himself a shooting gallery over the top, getting all the hits he needs, and Immortals now, they get to that point with these. They have a minute 15 remaining, and he's still laying in the shots. And Hex, what would have happened there if they just held back and decided to hold for Hangar?
I think Zave got picked off again because he got those forward spawns that they did not want. I think if Zave suicides there, or at least, tries to, instead of trying to get out and playing it cute, the rest of the team pulls back and they're in a much better position to fight. But him losing it, knowing that he's going to be staggered for the next fight and they're going in 5v6 already, dictated the desperation play of trying to get on the point. It's not quite over, but it's just looking pretty bad.
Well, Grimreality said it was high noon and ends up taking a nap instead. Ruster able to take down Ethan. The last gasp here for LG as they try and defend this out, but Grimreality, despite the catnap, comes back in, takes down Mineral. Graviton Surge setting him up, moving in over the top. Spree and Ruster, the last two remaining here in the point. Both tanks, both going to get eliminated, and just like that, Immortals pulling back against LG. Gonna take Watchpoint Gibraltar 5-4 on map score. Great game overall.
A beautiful game between both teams. Slasher, what did you see?
What it seems to me is LG overextending, costing them what I thought was maybe some points on their games against Cloud9 again here in overtime. I saw no reason for Ruster to be charging. They pretty much give up a 2-for-1 trade. They put themselves in the worst possible scenario for first point. Not only does the entire team get wiped in bad trades, then Zayd gets caught out, as you mentioned, as a late spawn kill. Then they all try to come in and save the point, and they basically feed ult for the use of Ana ult. Then Zayd gets killed again. Then they have to have one last Hail Mary at the very end. Just sloppy positioning and play. If they want to try to fight underneath the bridge, they all have to commit. They cannot be trading even 2 for 2, and especially 1-on-2, and then have everyone try to just lunge in at the very end and give up ult status. And then you put themselves in such a bad position to have any chance of holding the hanger face.
Alrighty, so that was game number 1, LG versus Immortals, and X, weird things are going on with your camera. I know, apparently I think you're adjusting as we speak, but apparently you've gone very tiny on us. Wait, now we can't hear you.
I said sometimes I feel small. Yeah, I'm trying to fix it as it goes. It keeps locking up, so I have to remove and add it and things like that. I mean, I did call out Zay for getting a little out of position there and dying very late instead of like suiciding in. But who's to say that they wouldn't have just staggered him anyway? I think his best bet was to try to get out there, but he bailed around trying to go topside and then drop down. And then, yeah, as you said, I think that was probably the worst part about it and why they lost. And as I said, coming into this match after watching LG already today, their disengages are great. There's a lot of times where they're a team that's best about avoiding blizzards. They're really good about avoiding nano-boost stuff. Their reactions defensively are great to things, but their initiation is still very much lacking.
I mean, this is a good opportunity for LG to take their first map of the tournament. I mean, I said before that although Lijiang did get left in the map pool, Immortals is not one to be favoring playing King of the Hill maps right now, just because Grimreality and Agilities were not the 2 DPS players that they had been playing with on King of the Hill for the last few months, and had been hyped, Ethan, who's been playing Tracer on that point. And I want to know if really they've been able to fix this problem where Agilities and Grimreality have to be playing the DPS. I don't necessarily think you need the Tracer. You have a really great Genji and you have a great McCree. Why not just let her rip and see what can happen?
I tend to agree there. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, we're flexing, we're a flexible team, we can swap to this, and this, but generally speaking in Overwatch, barring weird strategies or switch-ups like 3-2-1 in general, you do want to run 2 DPS characters, and having the people that are running the DPS swap up can't be super great for just team chemistry, team communication, all the rest. It's not something you really want to do as a regular basis. Now, of course, there'll probably be a team at some point that'll flip that all on its head, but general rule, it's probably not the most conducive, so I definitely agree.
If we don't see Grimrealities playing Genji on this map, I think maybe he's just done with Genji. Because this, in my opinion, is one of the best Genji maps. Of course, I always base that off of what Shadowburn does on this map, but maybe that's not the best way to do it. So I wonder what Agility is going to play here, but I think this would be the map you would play, this stage in particular, that you would play Genji on.
Well, the one thing that's a little bit interesting here, Hex, what do you think of the double McCree coming out here from Manta and Grimreality? Because this is one map where even teams that have really good McCrees, like when you see Surefour, for example, play here on the Sanctum of Lijiang, people tend to go Reaper, and actually, as I say that, I think they realize what was going on. Grimreality did go to Reaper going, oh yeah, it's a stage. But we still have the McCree coming out here from Manta.
I think McCree is really dependent on what the other team is going to run. If the other team is going to run a Tracer, it looks brilliant because you can stay in the back line and you can protect your supports. You can hang out with the Ana, or sometimes you can rotate around up top and get the highest of noons. But a lot of times the other team's going to be running even a Winston. He's going to get on you in the back lines and kind of ruin your day. So I don't know if the spacing is perfect for McCree here. We'll see what he can get done.
Alright, so both teams right now trading off early poke, but it's definitely LG in the driver's seat. Icefelt getting shot after shot and just ripping agilities apart. Now he's 6v4, and it's going to be Immortals just getting forced back. Just no way of coming back when you lose that poke war so decisively.
Well, Manitin looking good on the McCree so far, and this is exactly the position you want to be in on a McCree on a control map, is being able to just pick your positioning, knowing where they're coming from, and getting all of the poke you want. It's hard for them to engage, but it's been hard for LG to engage all day, so this is the position that they definitely need to be in on control maps, on the defense, able to disengage at a moment's notice, but right now, they're looking really good right now, just kind of rocking it through the hallway. Icefelt gets hooked, but he gets out. Here comes the Ana boost on the Icefelt.
Icefelt does roll in with the now boosted Reaper. Doesn't get too much from it. Doesn't even build that much ultimate. So a really good adaptation coming out here from Immortals. And this now gives them the ability to roll in. Sure, Icefelt's going to have a Death Blossom soon, but take a look at agilities. This is where his Roadhog can rip things wide open. Looks for the hook. Does not get it, but the hammer does come down. And agility's going to walk up, shoot Lucio on the lower half. 3 kills here from the side of Immortals as agilities just has himself a rampage.
I suppose he doesn't have to play Genji if he's going to play Roadhog like that. I just always loved watching his Genji and his ability there. So Agility is just absolutely crushing it on the Roadhog. And this is the test for LG. They have struggled to engage on maps time and again. Payload, King of the Hill, etc. They are going to have Icefeld with a Blossom up. They're going to have Spree with a Death Blossom or the Graviton as well. So they have the tools to be able to do it.
Graviton does come in here from the side of LG. Agilities, though, does not care. Whole Hog's in the back. After taking out Zave, looking for Mineral. Mineral, lucky to get out of his life. Icefelt not going to be so lucky. And it's Agilities here with a world-beating Roadhog right now, setting up his team. And Hex, what else set up for that fight there? Because we were watching Agilities, and he definitely had a good one.
Well, I liked Agility's positioning there is coming around on the side rather than just kind of hanging out in there. Now, sometimes even as a Roadhog, you want to jump into those Gravitons and use your whole Hog just to keep them away from denying any sort of follow-up. But Agility's is just going for flanks on his Hog, kind of an homage to Harblu here. But they are able to clean it up. Reality gets a couple more kills as he gets boosted through.
He got boosted through, but something also knocked him up into the air, throwing him over the shield, letting Grim Reality pick up the quad. Oh my goodness. Hate to see that kind of thing happen, but now just one more fight remaining here, and we will be seeing Immortals take the first round here on Lijiang.
We'll see. They do have the combo that they want to hit, but so far teams have been reacting pretty well tonight to boosted Reapers, but that's exactly what they're going to be going for, and maybe Manitin can follow it up. Here comes the boost.
Boost comes in, but the Earth Shatter stops Icefelt dead right then, right there. And here comes Immortals, a beautiful Earth Shatter by Nomi, setting them up. Their big can of DPS is dead on the side of LG, and this is not a fight they can retreat from, yet retreat they are all the same. Desperation Sound Barrier out, but you take a look at how things are going right now. It is absolutely an edge to Immortals, and LG, they still have people alive, Hex, and they don't get back on the point.
It was odd because Ruster tried to get an Earth Shatter, got something going on up top. They had a couple there, and if they could have just kind of maybe taken that angle and gotten a foot on the point, they had reinforcements coming in through hallways, so they would have been in much better position to at least contend that. And yeah, you're probably going to die, but die trying.
So what do you think the switch up that we're seeing here? We see Grim Reality going off the Reaper on the McCree. It feels pretty standard, just given that this map is a little bit more wide open.
McCree owns the bridge on this map, especially these early on points. You're going to see both of the McCrees probably dance around through bridge if that's where they rotate, using the pillar in the middle as some cover. Manitin is switching all over the place. He was on a 76 for a moment. Unfortunately, it's not the PTR, so he's going to go back to Tracer.
All right, and it's going to be Ruster here on the Winston once more. Kind of been a rough night for Ruster on the Winston, I would say. We'll see if he gets what he's looking for here. Is going to lead the way, leaps right in. Creates a good amount of space here, though, for the LG side. Let's retake the first kill on Nomi. And just like that, LG, nothing too crazy here, but it's a good engagement that gives them the space they need.
The coordination
just gets thrown off.
The coordination was much nicer on that Winston engage than it was on Nepal's Sanctum. They did jump in over the top, drop the bubble. He didn't go too far. He did get a Zarya shield as well, allowed them to cut off the opposing tank in Nomi, take him out early, and once the opposing Reinhardt's down on this push, you're in a great spot. Already, though, really smart by just rotating all the way around to the right side, knowing that bridge is extremely difficult to engage into, but it's not too much better on the other side. Agility's going to try to get an early pick. He does get a hook, but he brings in a little bit more than he can chew off.
Grim Realities with the punish there, taking down Icefeld, and this has been one of the key Achilles heels for the LG team. But hold the phone, it's Manitin, comes in from the back with the Pulse Bomb, takes down 3, gets a little bit more, and that wasn't even a big bang. Spree at 67%. That was just a good, solid, manufactured Pulse Bomb coming out from Manitin.
Manitin's been playing everything tonight, to varying degrees of success. I think he struggled a little bit on the Winston on the last map as well, but really nice Tracer there too. It's up to Grim Reality to shut that down. So far, it's been LG's stage.
Has been LG stage indeed. Agility's though able to take down Icefeld. Graviton in here. Manitin going, where's my bomb? Sorry, used it last fight. Doesn't need it though to finish things off. 3 kills here from LG, set up by Spree. Grim Reality though got punch Manitin in the mouth before it's all said and done, and I don't think Grim Reality is going to get the luxury of just sneaking around the back unattended there, Hex.
Chance is also going to die very late, too. This is rough for them. They had the opportunity to probably suicide there, but getting that kill early on was more important in Grim Reality. Now they're going to have to wait for those two to get back, which is going to be another 5-10 seconds here. They're going to come over the bridge a little bit dry.
And you take a look here at the offense coming in from Immortals. They have everything up. Every ult is on the table, and here they go. They're going to nano boost agilities. That is one super pumped up Hog. Takes out Spree immediately. Sets up Ithid for the kill on Icefeld. Now 6v4. Things looking very good for Immortals, but they do have to exchange 4 ultimates for this point, so not the worst trade here, Hex.
Yeah, and at this moment, they're just trying to stay on the point to get it up to 99. It's always fine to die in the point when you're about 90 or so there, knowing that the first tick you back on the other side should be great. But again, I am a little bit almost worried now. LG has struggled to engage when they're in positions like this. Nepal comes to mind. Several maps come to mind. How are they going to start this fight? How are they going to win this fight? Actually, I think Manitin might be able to do it alone. Get in there really quick, drop a pulse bomb.
Graviton Surge is going to be coming out here from Hype early on. How did he get... He got 2 in it. We're trying to take a look. It's going to be Spree falling in. The other able to get away, but still not a bad Graviton early on. But it's going to be Manitin here for LG, trying to make something out of nothing. Very much outnumbered, but still darting around his Tracer. And oh, blinks right into Nobi's hammer. So that's not going to go anywhere. Will be Immortals holding on. But Hex, they still have to hold on for quite a while here. Probably about 2 to 3 more fights.
2 to 3 fights, yeah, but Mineral was able to skate away there. Lucio's got his special space boots, got out of that Graviton Surge. So it even happens to the pros where they get caught on that other side of the Graviton here. They are going to try to initiate over bridge again, but the Winston comes over the top. Nomi's going to let him jump over him as he goes in with the boost, takes down 2 in the back line. Spree knocks off. There goes Ruster. His push is already over.
Oh my goodness, between Grim Reality and Ithid, so much poke damage coming in from the back. Ithid showing his Ana chops there just a little bit, and now at 67%, potentially one fight away as Immortals from swinging this round in their favor. So things getting a little bit rough. Mineral getting knocked off immediately. Lucio Violence. 3 kills here from the side of the Immortals, and Hex, it is now absolutely do or die here for LG. This has been a bit of a collapse.
Is it time to run a Reinhardt? They need to get in somehow.
Well, they need something. They will have a sound barrier in the Death Blossom. That's going to have to be the horse they ride in on here. Icefeld, going to need that speed boost, going to need a whole lot of support. We'll have the nano boost, so we're going to be seeing a very typical support setup here for the Reaper going in. Is able to avoid the Earth Shower. Earth Shower came out early. And here comes Icefeld. Nano boost on the way. Goes into the back line. Nano boost in. Takes down Ithid. Sets up for an extra kill and just rolls into the back. Here, Immortals now on a bit of a downswing.
Yeah, Reality tried to keep them up that point by getting his Deadeye going. The Graviton comes off in desperation. There was not the follow-up there, and even though Chance is a pretty good skater, he's unable to deny that. It is going down to, well, just the Tracer getting in there in desperation. A boosted Tracer is hyped, just trying to stall it out, wait for his team to get back in. But this might, never mind, LG is gonna still stall it out with a Winston on point, but this is all over but the crying.
Just about. Hype, though, is going to get in from the backline on the D.Va, so even though a lot of deaths are coming in here from the side of Immortals, it's very unlikely to get pulled back. They're still hoping for that miracle. That miracle, though, not going to happen as LG able to reverse course here, 1-1. And we have ourselves a Lijiang tower.
1-1.
Even though they won that stage, I'm a little, I don't know, I'm still skeptical because I think there's chances for them to switch the composition and they're a little bit stubborn about it. I don't know that the Winston was working out for them the last 3 times. They got a little bit lucky that the Winston jumped over the top and that Nomi got a little bit too excited on his Earth Shatter, was able to miss it. But that was exactly what had happened the fight before. There, Winston jumping over the top, using the bubble to save himself when he gets in, and that means there's no shielding, no protection for them if they're going to roll in the bridge after him, and they got Earth Shattered and clean up the time before. They got a little bit lucky that last fight went differently for them.
I would tend to agree there. That was definitely playing with fire from the LG side. LG, though, will be coming out with the Reinhardt this time around. And there was a point where Immortals was flirting with the idea of running Mei instead. Gonna be running just the double power comp of McCree Reaper. A big sleep on the roster early on, though. Definitely gives them initiative. They're pushing LG all the way back. LG, though, returning in kind. Able to back off on a grenade, gonna keep them nice and healthy. So both teams relatively even here. Maybe a slight positioning advantage here to the side of Immortals, but very well could go the other way, especially if they're not careful and someone gets picked.
I love those blind sleep darts through the corner. Sometimes they just work that well for you. Ruster continues to get out-rhymed. He's taking down by Nomi. Hype is going to chime in as well, and Nomi already has his Earth Shatter. Knocks down a few. They're able to completely kill him at this point. Now they're going to try to get on the chase and stagger some of these deaths.
They do stagger it, so Immortals, in the end, the early sleep dart gave them a little bit of extra pressure, and they were able to get on the point and made LG sort of come to them in unfavorable ways. So not the worst coming out here for Immortals, and they are the first on the clock.
Another difficult point for King of the Hill to be able to take back and initiate, which has been the bane of LG tonight. So they're going to try to come around right side. They do boost Icefeld yet again, trying to get in there on the Reaper. They counter boost Agilities on his own Reaper. So far, Icefeld has found nothing, even on his boosted Reaper tonight.
Agility's moving into backline, takes down Manitin with an elbow to the face. 2 kills coming out here. Agility's lucky to live as long as he did. Do believe he ate a sleep dart, but overall, it will be Immortals holding on once more. And now, Hex, again, they're about 3 fights away.
Slasher brought it up in the pregame that he's not been impressed with Icefeld, and since Hollywood, where Icefeld kind of stabilized them on defense, his boosted Reaper has gotten very little. There's been times where he goes in and just doesn't like what he sees and just gets out and kind of feels like a waste of the boost. It is, so far, it's going to have to change for them if they want to get something done.
Well, the Graviton comes in. Grim Reality picking off 3 off of that Graviton. Icefeld not going to have a chance to do anything here. A full and clean wipe coming out here from the side of Immortals, and now potentially just 1 team fight away. And one thing I'll say about Icefeld is that in a lot of the fights, not so much that one, the last one wasn't really his fault, but he has had points where he's gotten picked off early, and that's definitely killed some LG pushes.
Well, they're going to have to find a way to initiate yet again, 81%. So if they get wiped here, it's going to be in trouble. Agility is going to just go right in and gets boosted. And then nice shield placement by Ruster keeps most of his team alive. But Nomi and Chance come in and capitalize on the rest. There comes a huge Earth Shatter from Nomi.
And Agility's led the way, created all sorts of space. Nomi came in with the Earth Shatter. It's going to be Grim Reality with the finisher. 98%. There shouldn't be an overtime here. It's going to be Immortals now 1 round away from taking this matchup and adding another point to their group stage.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's getting close there. You've asked me all sorts of questions. What do you think they have to change? I feel they do their best when they run a Reinhardt. It has not worked out for them on the Winston, so I would start there, especially back on this stage. I think that right now they know how to deal with the Winston. Is there anything else you're seeing?
I definitely don't think Winston has been the friend of LG in any case, where I think it's just a case where you're not seeing nuanced Winston play. Like, you think about times recently where I've seen players like Miro that have the nuanced Winston play that really go in and out. Really, when when LG has been using Winston, they have cases where they just sort of leap in and die, so it hasn't been to their advantage. They definitely play a little bit tighter with the Reinhardt, so I think what they're running with here is fine with the McCree Reaper, and we'll see if it pans out as first fight should be underway here in just a moment.
A little bit better positioning from Immortals, but now it's going to equal up, just kind of playing that McCree back and forth. This Grim Reality, he gets solo. Grim Reality taken out by a nice fire strike.
Ruster opening up with that strike, taking him down. As mentioned, 2 quick kills here from the side of LG. I feel trying to bring him right back, but overall, looking like Immortals, they're jumping off. They know this fight is lost, so for LG, with their backs against the wall, that's exactly what they need there, Hex.
Really nice angle from Zave to get that bomb in, the bio grenade, to make sure no one could get healed up. That's what really led to Grim Reality's demise. He got to the left side of the shield, dropped it in on them, and then the cleanup was absolutely there for LG.
Alrighty, so both teams facing off here once more. It's going to be Immortals taking the back road this time around. Both teams going to face off here on the point, but you take a look at it ult-wise, you do have Ruster about to have the Earth Shatters, gonna have up earlier rather than not, and now with Nomi down, gonna have a great opportunity to drop that hammer. Graviton starts setting him up, and he's not gonna drop it yet, and that could be a mistake, but it's not. Icefeld gets the backline, takes down 3. And that was on a razor's edge, because if they were able to get out of that there, Hex, and heal up, I feel like Ruster would have been kicking himself for not running the Earth Shatter, but patience paying off.
Another beautiful bio grenade made sure that they were not going to be able to clean up. Everyone was already low health, recognized that, able to save the economy here, and now they're in a huge lead. This is looking like an entirely different stage for them now. They are going to roll in with Icefeld, a pretty good disengage so far. They all get out alive.
That's been happening a lot to LG, where I feel like they've just been a little bit over aggro, and oh my goodness, the counter Graviton is out. Is anyone going to get dropped off the ledge? No. The follow-up is not necessarily there immediately, but Agility's in Grim Reality now, coming in. The fight's breaking down as a 4v4, McCree Roadhog's still alive. Good position to be in. Icefeld, though, able to punish Grim Reality. Agility's going to whiff that hook, but here comes the Whole Hog, still trying to take it on. Nano Boost is in and on him now, picks up 3, and Agility's being unleashed and almost pulls Ruster into his death.
Ruster did his best there. The Graviton came in, and there was a fight saving for the moment, at least Earth Shatter. Knocked them all down on the bridge. Unfortunately, they were Graviton, so there was no cleanup, but it did keep his team at least in it. LG with a giant lead so far in this stage. A hook takes down Mineral. That is already going to be a 5z6. One of your supports, they're going to bail on this. They're already getting out.
They will be bailing, and now you take a look here at the overall progress on the map. For Immortals, they're going to have to win just about every last fight here if they want to stay in, so a lot of pressure on them. They do have the ult tools to win at least one more fight outright, but after that, I feel like a good junk rush here could actually set up the side of LG very, very well.
They might not even go for the junk rush here. Grim Reality is trying to get something going. A Deadeye is not going to find anyone in there, but we'll see if they choose to try to win this fight or junk rush. Nope, they're going to try to win it.
They went in with the Nano Boost, but immediately answered by the Hammer of Nomi. Agility's look towards the back, takes down Ruster, just a little bit overextended, and now the sound barrier up. This is a great opportunity for Immortals to clean up LG once more. They have the 64 advantage, and Agility's here just hanging out, gonna take out Icefeld, so clean and easy coming out here from the side of Immortals, and Hex, they only have to win about 1 to 2 more fights here.
We called Icefeld's name a lot tonight about how he's maybe not getting everything he wants done on his Death Blossoms. However, it's not necessarily his fault. I feel like they've been in this position before, and he knows what's going to happen if he tries to get really deep in there. The rest of his team just left, and he was all alone, got cut off very late. They've hard CC'd him, too. Let's give Immortals some credit on how they've reacted to Icefeld. But again, that was another boosted Reaper. They got very little done.
All right, Icefeld gonna go in here once more. Death Blossom out, gets booped away into a Graviton. What a response coming out here from Immortals. They still lose 2 people early on here, so it might not be enough. Still like the idea, though, of containing the nano-boosted Reaper, and yet here comes Icefeld, picks up the kills he needs to pick up, despite how that opened. Ends up with 4 before it's all said and done. However, the way that fight ended, I think there will be the opportunity for a last moment push coming out here from the side of Immortals, which they weren't necessarily guaranteed depending on how that fight went.
They've got the time. Chance is going to go back and get his tanks here on the run back. They are forced to go over the bridge. Not enough time to rotate over the side, but they are going to boost Nomi in here to start the initiation. A nice block on that Earth Shatter keeps everyone alive. Meanwhile, Nomi gets his own Earth Shatter down, trying to clean up. That's 3 kills for Immortals.
Nomi knocked down 2 there. It wasn't the most he could have gotten, but it was enough. Sets up his team, and here comes Immortals. They finish off LG here in the point, and now in overtime. Is this going to be it? It will. Immortals coming through, taking out LG, and assuring themselves that they will have most likely winner's bracket going into tomorrow's group stage or tomorrow's elimination stages. So play the game coming up by Grim Reality, no real surprise there. Picks up 2, set up well by the Graviton, and just standard stuff coming out for him, but gotta like how this Immortals team has been playing.
So the story for me, for this King of the Hill stuff, is that LG pretty much won the first team fight, I think on 3 of the 4 stages, and they got it to about 80-85%. And then they let Immortals come back and take it all the way to 99 and win each of the rounds. And they only won one of those rounds barely at the very end. So LG has some problems retaking points, I think, as Hex has mentioned, on Payload and on King of the Hill. They actually have some very good early engagements and being able to take the first team fights, but not enough when they are down and have to retake these sites.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. I'd also say for LG, it's just, I feel like some of their engagements just weren't necessarily the greatest. I feel like they rushed the Nano Boost Reaper combos just a little bit too much. It's hard to say. I also think it's just a general trend in general where like 1 or 2 people get picked off a little bit earlier than is probably necessary. And I don't think they've always been that way. I think it's something that's cropped up a little bit more recently.
I do think there is identity problem also with LG between Manitin and Icefelt. There's a lot of switching, and I know they're doing it based on like who is better on what based upon what stage, but they don't really seem comfortable in that whole realm. That's not working out, and I think, as Hex mentioned also, Ruster having to play Winston and the Spree-Ruster combination not as strong as a lot of the other Winston Zaryas is hurting them. So that forces him back onto Reinhardt, which, to be honest, is pretty strong right now, considering Ana is the de facto support in the meta. So they should probably continue running Reinhardt. I think Spree is playing pretty well. I think him being picked up to play Zarya has gone pretty well for the team. But Manitin and Icefelt are really going to have to work things out for the future of this team, or they're going to have problems, especially going up against the tier 1 teams.
Alrighty.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like right now that a lot of the problems that come from teams that I see most often are teams that you feel like you can't necessarily pinpoint their identity. And right now, I think that plays exactly what you're saying, that I don't know who to really be afraid of on that team. I don't know who's going to be able to carry that team if they absolutely need it. And like not every team has a great carry, a hard carry that just picks it up. But there's usually a team where you know, like, this is what they are. When their backs are against the wall, they're going to get great play out of this. And right now, LG is just a little bit all over the place. And I think not being able to initiate fights and their coordination is kind of indicative of that. But yeah.
Alrighty, so our next matchup will be Immortals versus C9. C9's still in game. I believe they're up 1-0, so it could be a fight of 2 zeros against 2 zeros here for our final match in Group A. Would not have it any other way. This is the Alienware Monthly Melee, and we're going to be back after a short break. Stay tuned.